Hey everybody, it's White Noise Live.
Hey, here we are.
Me and Reid and Ethan.
Hi, it's me.
Hello.
It was gonna be just broadcast at first, but then Ethan was able to join, so now we have a bonus bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, the stream says it's offline though.
Yeah, there's a
It
delay.
takes a while to catch up.
I intentionally added an extra 30-second delay so that it doesn't buffer for people
Oh, I
watching.
see.
So we are a little bit behind, but we will be responding to chat. We can read the chat, so you guys
I can't.
can talk to us through the
Oh,
chat.
I should watch it. No, I shouldn't watch this thing, because it'll destroy my everything.
Oh yeah, definitely mute it when it comes on. I just caught it. There it goes. So, hi everybody, welcome to episode 2. Episode 1 was fun. Probably going to keep doing these every week.
I will pop out the chat and close everything else. That will probably not cause any issues. Alright, hey! Okay.
This time we're doing it on Friday night, and it's late.
Friday night?
Because I stayed up till 5 last night working on special effects for Monday's video.
That's,
So, hope that works
it's
out.
an unfortunate predicament.
Ethan filmed Monday's video. He did a good job.
Much love, catch you next time, boys.
That's from Lonely Ninja last time.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, Ethan filmed it. It's another half hour video.
God. First thing Reid's done this whole time.
I think, is this the first podcast we've had Reid on ever?
No, Reid was in the background of some of them. I don't know if that counts.
Has he actually? Yeah, I guess you did yell in the background a few times. That's right, because you were listening to another podcast in the background of one of our podcasts once.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, you were like, I think it was on the episode that we were like declaring war on Chaos Pony or something, and in the background you can hear Reid listening to Chaos Pony.
That's pretty funny.
Sounds like me. I feel like I'm dying like all the time.
Reid is in
I'm sorry.
Waco right now and is ill from.
Well, that's what
food,
happens when you're in Waco. You just die all the time. Just happens.
and he's
Well,
refusing
mainly from everything I eat.
to show his picture. So we have a photo of Messier.
Oh,
Which is kind of why Messier came
I
into
gotta
existence in
preserve
the
the
first place.
face, man.
because Reid was like faceless all the time.
Tomorrow's Reid's birthday. So,
No, it's not.
Happy
so
birthday,
happy
Reid.
birthday to Reid. Good job
Happy
surviving
future.
for 2 decades. He's gonna be 20.
Wow, that's pretty old. You know what they say?
Yeah.
What do they say? You have to
20's
follow
the
that
new
up with
black.
a thing. You can't just say you know what they say and then not say what they say, Ethan.
They say when you're 20, there's only 20 left, and then you're dead.
I think that's what they used to say
Yeah.
back in the medieval era.
It's impressive to live past 35.
So I noticed that on late Friday evening, unsurprisingly, we have basically nobody watching, which is okay, I guess.
What a shame.
I think mostly we'll be doing these Saturday mornings rather than Friday evenings, but I'm going to San Antonio tomorrow to go write stuff with Ian and Rachel and film another video, so yeah, we're doing Friday for now. Let's talk about something interesting, huh?
Well,
Well, what do you want to talk about?
wait, I was just gonna say, technically in 2 minutes, it will be Saturday morning, so...
That's a good point.
Whoa! Guys, get excited for Saturday morning. It's gonna happen. Before you know it, you're gonna wake up and it's
I made a joke about slaves today.
yeah.
Yeah?
I made a joke about slaves to one of my black friends, but I didn't mean it to be racist, and then I realized afterwards that it was.
How can a joke about slaves not be racist?
Well, it doesn't have to be about
I mean,
race,
it wasn't
I guess,
about
but...
it wasn't about like black slaves.
Oh, okay. It was about
Yeah, it was just
What was the joke?
like the Egyptians having Jewish slaves. Was it that kind of joke? It's like, man, those crazy Egyptians
No,
always
so-
had
So
Jewish slaves.
I don't think any slavery comes without some amount of prejudice, really. So it's probably
Yeah.
never entirely without offense.
Yeah, that's
yeah. Well, no, what it was that me and a couple friends were we took out this ramp that I built. I built a ramp by the Waco.
Da-na-na-na-na.
Oh yeah, I think I saw a picture of it.
Rebuilt a ramp. Ba-na-na-na-na.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, that was like wow, that was like really
We're having some technical difficulties here at White Lightning Live.
Yeah, Reid's connection seems.
I don't know what's
spotty.
happening.
Somebody pointed out that the audio quality would, dip a little bit from doing it live and stuff, and not editing the tracks together. But there's not really a way around
Kind of just
that.
have to deal with that. I mean,
And I
the
don't
audio
care.
quality was bad back in old White Lightning.
It was.
Podcast, so not really a thing we can do.
But
But with this, you get the added benefit.
Yeah,
of
so
looking
I
at-
took this ramp out with a couple of my friends and we were riding.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I took out this ramp with a couple of my friends, and we were trying to move it, and my two friends picked it up, and I just stood there, and they moved it, and one of my friends was black, and I was like, "Move it, slaves!"
Okay,
And
yeah,
he got
that-
mad.
Yeah, yeah, he probably did, Reid. That wasn't a joke about slavery so much as actually
So
just
that's it.
calling black people slaves.
What a great start to the podcast, by the way. Just saying. Welcome to White Lightning Live. We
don't know
we
why I
not
thought-
only endorse slavery, but we made jokes about it
Yeah,
5
but-
minutes
but-
into the
but
start of our
both
podcast.
Slaves? I've been calling them both like slaves.
I don't know why I thought this would go a different direction by having Reid on.
Well, you have me to balance it out, but it's too late for me to care. Oh, yeah, I'm going to sell this. I don't even play T2 that much anymore.
The Reid House college life.
Nothing beats the college life, beating people with my college
Oh.
knife.
Well,
Okay, Reid's connection is gonna be like really horrible.
Yeah, man. I thought mine was bad, but it's just Reid. Or is it?
Reid is disconnected. I'm sharing
Is
the
it-
link.
Oh, all right.
Well, all right.
why is everything so laggy?
I don't know. It wasn't as bad last time.
It's
See,
Waco's fault.
what's great now is that everybody gets to see our horrible failures, unlike last time.
I can't wait.
See, last podcast went super well, and so it may have totally skewed my expectations for how well these would go on average.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm gonna go back and talk about the video again because that's what I have to talk about at the moment. That's on my list. So
Video?
we filmed the Half-Life video.
Oh, yeah.
Ethan filmed it, and
I did.
it turned out pretty good.
Hey!
I
Someone's here.
I bought a book actually that will specifically written on how to use our camera. Like I found a book that somebody wrote on how to use that specific camera. Like they
much
did a
money
bunch of
did you pay
research
for
on
this?
it. It was slightly overpriced.
How
but
much?
I think it
Give
will
me a
be
number.
useful. The number is irrelevant.
Give me a number, Kyle.
It was $50.
This is like in Skyrim, paying someone to train you instead of like just slapping a boar with a sword for about 5 minutes. Like
But
you could have fiddled around with that camera and figured out everything that it did, but no, you paid $50
I could have
to.
figured out, like, because it comes with a manual, obviously, and it describes
Yeah.
what each setting does, but this book is
Yeah.
specifically about, like, here's all of the information on how to film things and make it look pretty, which you can buy books just on doing that, but this one is
Yeah.
like, here's how you do all of this stuff, and more specifically, here's how you apply it to this tool, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think will be useful. I've already learned a few things. Hello, Josh Mersick and I'll Be Cool. It is pretty late.
Guys, 1 a.m. Yeah.
It's
Hey,
only,
happy birthday, Reid! Woo!
Yay! It's only midnight here.
It's only midnight or later, just like Taco Bell.
But I think I think the only issue is that a lot of this video turned out really dark. So that's what I'm having to do after this podcast actually is adjust the coloring and try to bring the lighting
Probably
up.
my fault because I tried to make everything not blown out, and it was hard to do that.
Well,
so
I
apologize.
specifically told you to make sure it's not blown out, and a more correct thing would have been to focus more, because I wasn't really paying too much attention to it, because I was acting in it, and we hadn't used these new filters a whole lot, because we're using a filter that like darkens it a whole lot, and the issue was that it was balanced
Hello.
to make sure that nothing was blowing out. Were you gone?
I read.
No, I was saying hi to Avery.
Oh, okay. I thought you had dropped out and rejoined, and I hadn't noticed. You have to bring up whatever
No.
you're responding to in the chat, because most people will be watching or listening to this after it's aired, and so if you just respond to the chat, nobody's gonna know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
But we had a new actor help us out, and she was really good. She played Alex, and it all cut together pretty well, and the effects turned out good, and I added all the sound today, and I think it'll be funny. So that's coming up on Monday.
Get
That'll be
hyped.
fun.
And
And
then
then
one day.
filming
2
another
days.
video with Ian and Rachel this weekend, and that's what we're doing. And this week, oh yeah, we can actually talk about this. So this week, the breakdown episode of Counterintelligence came out.
Oh yeah.
That was Monday's video. And
How did that go?
It actually was received rather well. I was surprised.
Yeah, I expected everyone to go, wow, White Lightning sucks at everything.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, Reid.
I don't know what happened.
Reid will just be dropping in and out of the call.
Yes,
while we do
Avery,
this,
it's my
apparently.
birthday today.
It
It's
is
his
Reid's
birthday.
What?
Everyone throw money at him.
Reid is now officially 20 years old.
Hey, Reid, I'm
That's
throwing
not true.
money.
I was born at like
$10.
3 a.m.
Okay, fine. Reid will be 20 years old. And
Just saying, you can't use the word officially unless you mean it.
what if it's... Is it exactly 20 years? Because we kind of made up years. Like, how many revolutions around the sun is it?
Oh my god,
Oh,
Kyle,
no.
stop
Are there
it.
leap years?
It's like saying that people that were born on a leap year are like 4 years old when they're actually 12.
That's what I'm
Yeah, it's like saying that
it's
all
fair
people
enough
are
saying that
equal.
he's 20 now. It's close enough. But yeah, the counterintelligence episode. While we're actually doing them, we will be in character, and so we won't be discussing it. But here on White Noise Live, it's raw and
Anything
glitchy.
goes
So,
on White Noise Live. Hey, look, I'm going nuts.
so basically, what happened with that episode is we weren't really liking the direction counterintelligence was going. Was the it was fine for the 3 episodes that came out. It was a weird thing. Ethan, you've been there the whole time. Like, the disconnect between us recording them and then them being released it felt massive to me every time. Like,
What do you mean by disconnect?
while we were recording them, every time we were done, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. This is messed up. I don't know. Like, it's not that interesting.
I just like the thing is, I like podcasts like this where we're just like talking
Right.
and then tangents spawn, and because tangents are a beautiful thing.
Well,
but
that was part of the problem, I think, is that we didn't have a clear idea of what counterintelligence actually was.
I thought it was going to be like a talk show. When you like
Yeah.
when you brought it up, I thought it was going to be like 2 chairs in a room. Like we get like 1 chair, you have the big desk. Like someone walks in, hey everybody, welcome.
I'm
Geordie LaForge
20.
from Star Trek. Geordie LaForge, everybody. Today, Geordie LaForge is going to talk to us about freeform jazz, and we're so glad to have him on the show. And listen, Geordie, but like, no, it was just 3 dudes sitting in a room listening to you talk.
Yeah, and see, the problem is that it's not actually usually a problem. The thing is,
Well, it was a
come
problem.
up with ideas backwards, like, all the time. Like, all of our videos we come up with,
We come up with solutions before problems.
We do. We invented we invent the problem to a solution is usually what happens. I'm like, you know what? I want to puppet bread, and so then I have to backtrack and figure out some way that I can go puppet bread.
Pretty
And then-
sure that you didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to puppet bread.
It almost worked that way. That's how the.
I mean, pretty sure you figured out how to puppet inanimate objects using a green screen, and then we're like, hey, this could work with this.
No,
You didn't just wake up and say, I
No.
want to puppet.
no, that isn't what happened. That's my point.
Oh, okay.
That's the logical progression of an idea. I come up with a way. I'm like, that's funny. They're moving bread. I want to move bread. I'm gonna puppet bread with sticks. Like it doesn't make any sense. And every now and then it breaks down. So counterintelligence is the example of it. Not really, but my point being, what I was saying is, it felt like it was breaking down. But then if you go watch the episodes, they're fine. Like, everybody's been watching them and enjoying them. But I think the issue was that we were kind of looking into the future and thinking, like, this isn't going to sustain itself past like 15 episodes or so. It's going to start getting dull. And it was because we didn't have a clear enough idea of what it was going to be. So yes, I see the spooky, scary skeleton.
Hello, it's me, Ethan.
Um,
Reed's gone, by the way. Oh, wait, this will be Reid. Oh, I can't. Doesn't work like that.
And so yeah, that was the issue. It was like a talk show, but we were also trying to do kind of like a podcast and also like this educational thing, and we were trying to do all these things at
When
once.
you
and
add
it wasn't really
when
working.
you add education to anything on purpose, it never ends well.
Doesn't
Let
really.
people learn through having fun. That's what I say. Like, oh, we'll go throw a ball around in like the park, and then this is kind of how atoms work, right? That's fun. Don't go, guys. We're going to teach you how atoms work. Throw this ball at each other, or else.
Exactly.
not...
So, good segue. When Ian showed up, we recorded the Star Wars. Oh no!
Oh, I'm out of...
Reid actually got
now
disconnected
it's the
completely.
bottom of you.
Yeah, Ian showed up to record with us. We ended up doing the Star Wars episode, and it was just kind of very loose and podcasty. And then we spent 2 hours, I think, just having... Ian was just describing this information to us, and we were like, this isn't going to work. This is going to be us, like, talking to the screen. And every one of these episodes is us just talking to the screen. And it's getting boring. And so we actually worked out this entire way to convert the show into something else that night while we were recording. And it worked out okay. Like, it's now open-ended. We can do what we want with it, and we know what we're going to be doing with it next. And we're just kind of changing the format a little bit. Reid's calling.
Am I in the
Let
right
me
place
add him.
now?
There
Hey,
we go.
Reid's
yeah,
back.
all right, Reid's back. And Ethan is in place.
My entire life is terrible.
So that is the current state of counterintelligence. Now back to Reid.
I just want to die all the time.
It ain't sports. Reid wants to die.
I have a story.
Oh?
What's your story?
You asked me how college was,
Yeah.
and I can sum it up in
Apparently
one
college
story.
was laggy.
Go ahead. How was college?
Okay, so in my ceramics class, there's this dude named Ray.
Stevie Ray
He's a
Vaughan.
small... No, stop talking. He is a small Chinese person with an accent, and he's pretty funny. And
Yeah, you're gonna have to make this more interesting.
yeah,
Reid.
and I've known him. Hold on. So I've known him since sophomore year. Like, that is sophomore year. I've known him since freshman year, and I always thought he was a junior,
Mhm.
and I just found out that he's 30
Oh,
and he has a kid.
yeah, we had a few of those at the Art Institute.
So that's how my life is going.
It was a very wide range of age groups in college. It
Yeah.
was weird. Because it was, yeah. A lot of times the
Yeah.
students would be older
I
than
was
the
like, even
teachers.
if he's like, I don't know, like 21, 23. Yeah, it's weird because he does not look older. But then if you look at like the side of his, I noticed today that his hair is graying, and I was like, what?
You thought it was just a style thing?
Yeah, apparently he's just super like patient. So he looks young.
Well, I'm not Asian and I look young, so what's up with that? I don't age. I still look like an 18-year-old.
Oh, well, that's because
Kyle, you look like a very old 18-year-old.
I do. I still get I got
I'm
carded in England. I would go into bars in England and they would ask for my ID, and their drinking age is 18.
That's
And
pretty
the
funny.
irritating thing is I wasn't even going to buy alcohol when I went to the building because I don't drink.
Why would you go to a bar?
Because everybody else was going to a bar. We were in like a group, and that's what you do when you go on pub
Get
crawl.
chocolate milk like from the Inspector Gadget movie. God, that was a terrible movie. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Inspector Gadget movie, that was just a
Inspector Gadget.
just awful movie.
I-
Did you ever watch that?
I
Did you
did.
ever
I
watch
rem-
the Inspector Gadget movie?
I remember enjoying the Inspector Gadget movie. I think we should maybe just jettison Reid from this. I really, really wanted him to be part of it.
No.
but This isn't. Oh, you're still here?
Bull crap.
Get out of here!
Still here. The other day,
We're talking about
I-
Inspector Gadget.
no, you're
Yes.
not. The other day, I was in my bed. It was like the middle of the day,
This better be more interesting
and
than the
I
last
fell
story.
asleep.
God.
Dude, the dude was 30. That's not interesting. Shut up!
Tell the story. You're on such a lag right now. It's like it's just leaving these giant gaps.
So, I was in my bed, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up, it had been 3 hours later, and I had had a full conversation with my professor via text.
Oh.
And I did not remember any of it.
was the conversation interesting? Like you keep giving these build-ups to stories that could be cool, but then they stop.
That's because college is boring, Kyle.
Well, let's talk about
Wow.
something else. Like how
You
ridiculous
asked how
Inspector
college
Gadget
was.
I expected you to be
Inspector
wacky,
Gadget.
Reid. You're supposed to be wacky.
I'm sorry, I'm tired.
I mean, it is 12-12.
I'm tired.
Because if you leave it up to me, I'm just gonna be talking about like movie stuff. Like I've been watching the Lord of the Rings behind-the-scenes featurettes for the last.
No, stop
2
talking
days.
about that. Every time we get together, you're like, "Oh, they made giant people, Ethan.
said
It's
that
crazy.
once.
They made giant people."
I said
It's
that
like,
once.
shut up, Kyle.
And it was crazy, and it was awesome.
No, you talk about that a lot.
I don't talk about it a lot. I told it to
Told
each of
it
you
to me
one time.
twice, Kyle. 2 times. It's more than you tell me anything.
It was an awesome production. Okay, there was a lot of work that went into it.
Remember the time in Lord of the Rings where they were on that mountain and then freaking Grumble or whatever like threw a loaf of bread off the side and then Sam was like, "Oh, Mr. Frodo," and Frodo was like, "Sam, you're dumb. You ate my bread." And then he
What
like
accent was
karate
that?
chopped Frodo off the ledge.
Why is Samwise Italian suddenly?
Oh, so Frodo, why you do this to me? And then like Frodo karate chopped Samwise, and he was like, "No!" And then Grumble was like, me want the wing, the chicken wing of the eyeball or
I
whatever."
don't even know
And
who
they-
Grumble is supposed to be in this weird like
You know,
Ethanized version
Grumble,
of
the guy
movie.
with 2 personalities.
Gr-
The
Are you-
horrible, like, deformed Grumble guy. What was his name? Grumble?
Gollum?
Gollum, that's it. It had a G in it. So then Grumble was like, and then spoilers for the end of the movie, but he bites Frodo's finger off. That was pretty nasty.
I like how you actually drop a legit spoiler after all of it.
What? Where he bites his finger off? That's pretty hype. How is that a spoiler? It was going to
Like-
happen.
Hey, look, we actually have more people
That
now.
guy
Nasser
that was
Games. I
Hey.
haven't heard from
Wait,
Nasser Games in a long time,
Kyle.
actually. Hi. What?
Kyle,
What?
What?
that guy that was 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rides a scooter everywhere too.
You're not gonna salvage this story.
You're not- yeah, this story's just getting like
No,
less
you're-
and less.
Rides a scooter
This is like
everywhere.
a bit from Napoleon Dynamite that never goes anywhere.
Like a push scooter.
That describes
So I
my
just
Reid's
didn't think he
conversation
was
so well.
30 years old, man.
All right, maybe
He had
wanted
a scooter. Why would he have a kid?
Because maybe it
People
was his
that
kid's.
ride scooters don't have kids.
Jeffrey has a kid, Reid. Anything is possible in this world.
Yeah, Jeffrey does have a kid.
I guess I can see Jeffrey riding a scooter.
I can see Jeffrey riding a hoverboard and then hating it a lot.
I'm honestly surprised that we don't see Jeffrey riding a scooter on more occasions, to be
Like Jeffrey would be the kind of person who'd like borrow someone's hoverboard and then like they wouldn't like it that much, so they'd give it back. Because like
also,
you think
hello,
Jeffrey
Music
would be
Musket.
okay
I
with
was ignoring you, sorry.
Oh.
Am I supposed to be looking at this live
does
stream?
have a webcam, but he is refusing to use it, which is also why he dresses in helmets and things every video.
So I had an extremely Kyle. I had a dastardly plan for this video. Basically, what I was gonna do is I reinstalled FaceRig, that weird webcam software that lets you be
God.
like all the horrible
I'm really
characters.
glad that whatever went wrong did.
So my plan was I was gonna reinstall FaceRig and then download a mod that I saw for it a while ago for a character that was gonna be really funny, right?
Yeah.
The problem is I don't have the DLC for the program that like you can draw your own characters in it and stuff, and it required that DLC to run. So I was like, I have an idea. I'll sell one of my TF2 items for $20 to buy a $3 DLC. And now I'm just like waiting. I'm like refreshing the market. Like, it's going to happen. I'll ruin the podcast
All right,
somehow.
well, now you got to tell us what TF2 item do you have that's worth $20?
It's one of the, they had that recent, like, what was the update where it was like, you get the skinned weapons?
Oh, really? You got one of those?
Yeah, I have a current event scattergun. It's factory new. I put it up on the market for $23, which sells at 20. I get $20.
Wow.
Yeah, I like it a lot, but the thing is, like,
sell
I never end
trading
up
cards
getting the regular.
sometimes. I get
Say
12
again?
cents. I sell trading cards sometimes for 12 cents.
Yeah, I spent way more than $23 on that stupid thing, though. Like, not on the scattergun, but on like keys for everything that I got. Not worth it at all.
I've never bought a key on TF2. I've
I'm
made my
horrible
peace
when it
with
comes to stuff.
microtransactions. Like, I'm actually okay with the concept now. It used to
Depends
bug
how
me.
they do it.
Yeah, I think it used to bug me specifically because I had already purchased Team Fortress 2 and then it went free to play, so I was part of that group that was like, well, I gotta pay for
That
it.
kind of
Nobody
made me,
else has.
that made me a little upset.
Which, yeah, it shouldn't have. It's not that big of a deal or anything, but yeah, no, it's...
I mean, I think I just like I shouldn't say, oh, I deserve this, because like I bought the game when it wasn't free to play, and I got to play in that kind of like golden era of like
Yeah.
every server had its own little community, and that was really fun. Honestly, joining a server, meeting a bunch of people that actually cared, and the thing is now like I actually wanted to bring this up on a podcast, but like I'm never gonna get mine started. But one thing that I noticed a lot is that when TF2 went free to play, a lot of those communities kind of, I don't want to say they got diluted, but they're just not as prominent anymore. Like back when you, what?
Yeah, I mean, that
Oh.
that tends to happen once you pour in a whole bunch of new people.
Yeah, like there used to be a bunch of communities that had like about 5 servers, and you'd go on and it'd be all the same people, you know, and there'd be map rotations. Like I missed map rotations. Now it's just kind of, oh, it's a payload map rotation. It wasn't like oh, it would go through whatever maps, you know.
I think it still depends on what server you go to, right? Aren't there some that are
It
just
does.
dedicated
It does a lot,
servers?
but there are so many servers owned by one company now, and they all have those stupid like ads at the start.
Yeah.
And I can't stand it.
I
don't know.
still love, like, if I had to pick, I think, one game to just play forever, it would probably be TF2. That's the one game that I always
Yeah.
return to after a little while.
Yeah, after I get bored of it, and then I'm like, you know what, TF2 sounds fun. The thing is, if I were to pick one game to play forever for all time, it'd probably be Gary's Mod, just because there's so many games in that game.
I don't know if I'd pick Gary's Mod. There's something about
I-
Gary's Mod that's a little bit just too janky. Like,
It is. It's
I-
absolutely horrible.
I
Like,
still
it's
remember
just,
Gary's Mod before it became fun, though. Remember, that's actually kind of a new thing. Because
Yeah.
only
when
a
it was
few
just
years
like
ago, it
you
didn't-
join a server, build like a crappy house made of like wooden planks, and
Yeah.
then
They
it gets
didn't-
blown up by a guy with a revolver.
They didn't have all those game modes, and the online system was really bad for a while. They'd made some
So
big
bad.
overhaul, which is why it's now, now people are making YouTube videos off of it, and there's Trouble in Terrorist Down and all this stuff because of that
Ugh.
update. But
Yeah.
previous to that, it was a mess of a game,
It
and I
was a
always
mess.
just felt really depressed after playing it for an hour because there was no point to anything that you were doing in the game. There was no objective. I'm just like, cool, I have this big sandbox. I pose these people in a funny position. I'm so alone. I have no-
Yeah. There were some things that were really fun, and the thing is, I never remember playing Gary's Mod to do Gary's Mod like things that they have now. There were a couple things that I remember. One of them was Obsidian Conflict, which I don't think anyone remembers Obsidian Conflict. Like it was like really weird. It was basically Gary's Mod, but like it was like Gmod Towers. Gmod Towers
Oh,
was
yeah.
like that's that thing where there's all those game modes up in this huge tower, and you just
Right.
kind of join and drop out. It was like that, except you go in with about 8 people, and then you run and like you vote on a door. So you go and you like pick a door, and then like however many votes that gets, that's what the game is going to be, right?
Yeah.
And some notable examples, there was like a kart racing game. There was actually like a card game where like you run in and there's like these 2 glass cases, and you break open one with a crowbar, and it has like Metro Cop, like a card.
Mhm.
And then you have 3 card slots, and it summons like 5 Metro Cops, and you're supposed to like, they fight each other, and it's really cool just because, you know, I don't know, it was somehow exciting for a bunch of us to look through a window while Metro Cops fight each other. But like Obsidian Conflict was what basically Gary's Mod is now, with all its different game modes and whatnot.
Right.
There was also like Zombie Master. I don't know if you ever played that.
I don't think so. I really didn't go online until whatever updated, because it was like if you went onto a server and you didn't
Well, no,
already
it was-
have the stuff downloaded,
these
you
aren't-
couldn't do anything.
These were separate things. Like this wasn't Gary's Mod. This was like
okay. Oh, so
made
it
in the
was-
source engine.
So like what's that one game mode that we liked playing?
Synergy,
No, the one with the invisible guy.
source, hidden source.
The hidden.
whatever.
The hidden. That's what it was. Yeah.
So
like
basically,
that?
it's the same thing like that. Yeah, except they're basically Gary's Mod, but they're not.
Right.
Like,
just,
they're- it's
well,
like-
they're mods is what it is.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
Gary's mod.
There was
They're
a-
somebody else's mod.
So Zombie Master was like it was like Left 4 Dead, but in the Gary's Mod jank like Half-Life 2 engine.
Yeah.
And one player got to be like this RTS like awful zombie master. That was like the cool thing. And you get to spawn all the zombies and put traps everywhere.
Yeah.
And then like it was like Death Run. Death Run is a good comparison,
Mm.
except you could spawn
Yeah.
stuff. It was really fun, like, but it all kind of died eventually, just because I think Gary's Mod took over all of the. I mean, basically Gary's Mod is all that stuff, right?
I still like playing the hidden. It was a fun game mode. We should do some more sometime. Here we're getting some chat stuff. Oh no. Okay, I'll get to that. So.
Oh yeah. Clay's commented on that too. It was like, does Kyle not know anyone that's not white?
Okay, fine. I guess we'll get to it now because you just went
Talk
ahead and addressed it.
We should talk about it because it's kind of a problem that I've noticed.
That's not why it's called that. I'm just super like, I'm really surprised somebody actually showed finally brought that up. I've been. John has tried to yell it out in live streams before, and I've managed to cover it up and stuff. No, that's not why. It is an unfortunate coincidence. We live in North Austin, and we
live in white people world,
the
where
whitest area ever.
Yeah, we live in Weird Al's white nerdy music video, except all the black people are just photoshopped out.
I picked the name White Lightning because I was in middle school and I saw somebody else who had it as their username, and I thought that sounds cool. White Lightning, because it was back during the age of internet where everybody's username was adjective noun. That's how the username structure was. So I saw White Lightning. I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds nifty. And then we got kind of popular, and now we can't change it. So
yeah, were we gonna change it to something? Recently?
For a while, there was a brief moment a few years ago that I was thinking about changing it, and I actually asked some people, and everybody was like, "No, it's fine." It's so yeah.
What were we gonna change it to? Because I know it was something with a Q or something.
It was that Quincunx thing.
That's right.
It was based off of which is this weird inside joke that isn't amusing to anyone except for our little group.
Yeah, I still don't get it quite. I understand what it is. I just don't know why it's funny.
It was really just the people who were involved with the weird events that day, but
fair enough.
But yeah, that's where the name actually comes from. It's not because we're all white. Also, but I really I don't have any good reason for it. I don't know why. There's no reason I don't have multiracial friends except that I just don't it just didn't happen. It was not an intentional avoidance in any way.
Yeah,
it's just
it just kind of happens.
Technically, Rachel is...
I have one less black friend now.
You have one less bow.
Yeah, because that story told. Reid with the comedy. That was a brick joke, everyone.
But technically, Rachel is a quarter Asian, and then JP is also...
That's not... It's like saying you're an 18th Cherokee.
JP is... Well, no, there is a significant mathematical difference between those two things, I would like to point out. JP is also the whitest Mexican alive. So that is the maximum diversity we have in our group, though. It was also kind of frustrating because we all matched TF2 characters pretty well.
Except we don't have a demo man at all.
But then instead of a black guy, we got Rachel as our 9th member, so... So yeah, no, it is just a coincidence. I'm happy that it does not come up on a regular basis.
The problem is now if we do get someone or anything like that, we're going to be called racist for trying to get, the black guy trope. That's just going to happen. If we do another Half-Life video and someone plays Eli, and we have, an actual black person for Eli,
I think that would be...
oh, you guys...
I don't think so, because Eli's black. We'd get way more flack for not casting him as a black guy.
Well, the thing is, it's like a double-edged sword now.
I think that was acceptable. If you're casting an existing character, you make them look like the existing character.
That's...
Anyway, rewinding to more fun conversations.
Yeah, rewinding to not racism.
I wanted to call out the Darth Debo who said, "Why is Messier frozen?" And then Mr. Large Walrus says, "Because someone turned the microwave on." I'm really glad somebody got that joke. Oh, wow. Also, wait a minute, that's Mr. Large Walrus.
Yeah.
Wait, that guy that commented on everything?
Yeah.
I do remember Mr. Large Walrus.
I haven't heard from Mr. Large Walrus in a very long time. We used to read exclusively Mr. Large Walrus comments on the end of our old podcast over and over.
Yeah.
Because he left ridiculous comments. And then,
the nostalgia.
Is it the same one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, there could be more than one.
This is Mr. Medium Walrus.
Avery is correcting us. Or not correcting us, she's just confirming that Rachel is partially Asian, which is not an interesting
The thug,
talking point
the cop,
anymore.
and the nerd. You are right. There are only That's like the thing. Like, remember Ned's Declassified? The black guy was the nerd.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you brought that up because I had this weird chain of thought that have made me want to talk about that on this podcast this week. Just by pure coincidence.
Why do I have to bring things up? Can we not talk about Ned's Declassified?
Oh, but it was such a good show. I love that show
No,
so much.
it wasn't a good show. It was weird. It made me feel uncomfortable.
I loved it. It was so great. It was so, like, I was never sure if they intentionally wrote it that way to begin with, or if it was intended to be a cartoon first.
I think
like,
it was
I'm
intended
almost
to be a
certain that they wrote it as a cartoon, and then Nickelodeon was like, actually, we could really do with some more live action stuff right now. Could you maybe convert it? And they were like, okay, fine, but we're not changing the script at all.
Yeah, no, it's going to be extremely strange.
It was. I remember enjoying it massively.
I remember. I liked it, except. I liked it, except there was one joke that they made that ruined the whole show for me.
Was it? Well, here, real quick first, for anyone who's unaware, because it was like, I think it was a very specifically within our age group show, but Ned's Declassified was a middle school, like, teen show on Nickelodeon, and by all accounts should have been horrible, like any other, middle school
Nickelodeon's kid teen show.
But it was filmed and performed and written like a cartoon, essentially, which is why we think it was probably intended to be a cartoon. And it was things like if people fell off of something, it was like this super obvious body double dummy that they would throw off.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then, like, the janitor was chasing a weasel around the school the entire show that escaped in the first episode or something, and it was this little stuffed weasel that would just pop up and it'd swing it around, and it was ridiculous.
It was like a weasel ball weasel.
And like the character was like the jock guy. Like every time remember Seth, the basketball player, and he would show up, and every single time he had like the gallant Sir Knight haircut, like the blonde hair and like the green tracksuit, and then he would always be spinning a basketball on his hand. Every time he showed up.
I remember that.
Like every scene he would appear in. They must have hired this guy specifically because he could do this, and he was just spinning the basketball in his hand the whole time. Like, everybody had the same outfit all the time. It was just a live-action cartoon, and it was fantastic. It was extremely cheesy and campy.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
It was one of those things that, like, they steered so far into the skid that it became just absolutely hilarious because of how ridiculous it was.
Yeah. They owned it. They owned it really well.
This guy just responded to the scooter comment that I made earlier.
Yeah, we're not on that much of a delay in Acer Games.
Yeah, exactly. The other people are talking about the show.
Oh yeah, it's Teen Nick, not Nickelodeon. I'm sorry.
Well, was it Teen Nick back then too?
They were the same network, but it was different channels.
There was a brief period where it was a few months or maybe like a year where I enjoyed every single show that was on Nickelodeon at once, and I would come home from school and I would just sit down and I'd draw and just watch Nickelodeon shows for several hours.
Yeah.
It was, it was SpongeBob, and it was Ned's Declassified, and maybe Fairly Odd Parents.
Jimmy Neutron. Remember Jimmy Neutron? Remember Jumbo Neutronbo?
Jimmy Neutron was the bomb.
I think
every time that I think about Jimmy Neutron, it's like I'm having a Vietnam flashback.
I remember enjoying Jimmy Neutron, but Reid, I've had several people point out to me that it was terrible, and I've been
awful.
having
It
a
was
lot
a
of
bad
trouble
show.
arguing with them because they'll point things out to me, and I'll be like, "Yeah, that wasn't good." I don't remember why I remember it being good.
Hey Kyle, do you remember the episode?
Okay, you know why it was good?
Why? Enlighten us.
Because Jimmy Neutron's dad watched so much alien sitcoms and stuff that he knew that the answer to the last question was a trick question. That was awesome.
Yep.
That's why it was great.
But it's also. Do you remember how bad the animation was on it?
Oh, it
You
was
probably
gross.
don't. I know Ethan does, but I bet Reid doesn't because I didn't remember.
I
it.
remember it was pretty bad.
Because Ian pointed out
I'm
to
gonna
me
look it up,
once
yeah.
there were times when they would be thrown into the air and they would actually just like float through the air and then plop onto the ground because it was these really early days of cheap 3D animation and they didn't really know what they were doing.
So,
I'm looking
the best.
at some of
Do you remember that episode of Jimmy Neutron
Wait,
where
hold on. Music Musket is saying Jimmy Neutron was amazing. The movie adaptation was horrible.
The movie came
first. Music Musket, first of all, that was the original thing.
It didn't seem like it came first at all, but it totally did because Libby had different hair in it. Wait, no, her hair changed like I don't know. Anyway, so remember that episode of Jimmy Neutron in which they're in class and Miss Fowl, who was a bird, that was another nightmare of that show. Miss Fowl's like, all right, today we're gonna learn about Egyptian pyramids, and she pulls in one of those old TVs and pops in a VHS, and it's just like this image of sand like going from left to right,
yeah.
with a guy going, on the 5th day I had to amputate my tongue. It's going to be hard to narrate this. Just like for about 5 minutes, and then like, wait a minute, why don't we actually go to Egypt and have a beach party? And then they go there, and then they find a pyramid. And go inside, and they remember that, oh wait, this is the tomb of the ancient Egyptian pharaoh. How's about a slap ya? And it looks like Libby. And that was the entire episode.
Oh, yeah, dude, kind of. Yeah, that show was crap. Come on. That wasn't a good show.
Oh God, I forgot that Sheen got his own show.
I did not know that. Why did that happen?
It wasn't good. Don't look it up. It's bad. Just don't even think about it.
I won't. God, what other shows from our childhood are secretly terrible?
You
know what wasn't is SpongeBob. SpongeBob is still great.
SpongeBob has had some bad stuff recently.
Okay, when I say still great, I mean the shows that we watched still hold up now as adults going back and watching them.
Like when people hear me say, "Oh, old SpongeBob is better than new SpongeBob," no, like it's gonna sound like I'm blinded by nostalgia, but like some of the older episodes have some pretty great writing, and some of the newer episodes have lovable bits, like Squidward gets his toe ripped off by a couch and he screams for about 5 minutes.
That's not even new, Ethan. That's like 3 years old now. That's how old they are.
It's new in my brain. It won't go away.
I'm watching Jimmy Neutron right now.
Yeah.
Why?
And you remember the teacher that just crows like a bird all the time?
That's what we were talking about, Miss Fowl. Dad thought that was hilarious, I remember.
It was like the best non-joke.
I like that Reid's voice matches the picture I picked for him, at least. Like he sounds all garbled and distorted, and I have a picture of Messier.
I'm watching The Endman.
So, Kyle, what other shows do you remember watching on Nickelodeon?
I do remember The Endmen.
Oh God, I remember.
You know what? There were actually a few shows that I liked pieces of, but they were the ones that ended up getting canceled. Like do you remember The X's? It was a show about a family
that was like
of
the Spy
spies.
Family. Yeah,
And,
I remember seeing the trailer for that.
Like, there were a few good moments in that one. I remember, and there was I don't really know. I didn't really stick with cartoons into adulthood as much, even though I did animation for a while. Okay. By far, I think, SpongeBob aside, because that's just kind of its own thing, but by far, best show to ever come out of Nickelodeon our era was Avatar. Like, the writing on Avatar was better
really
than
good.
most films and adult TV shows now. Like, the character development was amazing. All the storytelling was great. Like, it was fantastic. It was such a good show.
I think the way to tell that a show is good is when you can't pick your favorite episode, and it's a good show. Like not like, oh, I can't pick my favorite episode because it's a terrible show, but like it's hard to pick my favorite episode from Avatar because a lot of them are really good.
Yeah, I mean it
is easy to pick your least favorite episode though, because it is The Pass or The Great Divide. That was a horrible episode.
Avatar,
no one liked that.
There wasn't even like a gimmick or anything. Like it was just good writing. Like it was just an example of people who knew how to write making an actual show, which is something that you see very little, unfortunately. And it was.
It just had. I think it was like at the right place at the right time. It was kind of like, I don't know, when anime was like not really a thing, like too much with the younger kids and like.
Well, and again, all of that may be true, but even if it was,
it's not an anime.
Time,
like everyone will get up in arms about me saying that it's similar to an anime, but like it's kind of. It draws heavy influences from that. That's what I'm saying.
It was,
and
not only was it a cool idea, like the implementation of all the bending thing was brilliant, and all the different ways that they took. They did they set the rules of the world and they told the whole story within those rules, and there was never a point where they actually changed something drastically to try to make their story work. And
there was never
characters were it's one of the only things, I think one of the only shows I've ever watched where I immediately sympathize with technically the villain of the story just as much as the heroes. Like, I wanted to watch them just as much. Like, Iroh is technically a bad guy from the beginning.
Yeah, Iroh was amazing. I have to say he's my favorite
best character.
The uncle, Iroh the uncle. He is my favorite episode, or not my favorite episode, my favorite moment, at least, from the entire series. And this is specifically because I told my mom was really into the show too, which was hilarious because like that's not a thing that happens. And but so do you remember I guess this is spoilers for Avatar, so everyone like plug your ears until I clap my hands.
Yeah, Nasser Games says Avatar wasn't really my generation. It doesn't matter. Go watch it. It's still
it's good.
And don't listen to what Ethan's gonna say. Just forget, like I do.
Yeah, just forget what I say. But there was the episode where like Iroh, he gets captured. This is like late season 2 or 3. I can't remember. He gets captured and then like he's thrown in jail and he acts like a crazy person. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And then like I remember telling my parents like, "Oh yeah, it's really awesome. He gets super buff and he like lifts with one arm and eats like a muffin." And they're like, "Ethan, you're insane." And then they went back and watched the episode and they're like, "Ethan, we're sorry for doubting you." Now, it was so funny because he was just like lifting and like eating like a bagel the whole time. I was like, "It's awesome. Iroh got really buff." And they're like, "You're stupid."
Well, and the weird thing is, he's not even that unique of a character. Like, he's I don't know why he's so likable. He's like the classic old mentor character, and it seems like he should be super generic, but for some reason, it's just I think it's his connection to Zuko the whole time just makes him super sympathetic and all of this stuff. I think he's
like the old master, but he actually kind of has an upbeat and like friendly personality, not like all old masters that are just like, "Oh, I'm gonna meditate the entire show and only dispense." Like, he has some words that aren't wisdom. He enjoys music night. He just kind of enjoys hanging out, right? He's actually a character. He's not a trope.
Well, I think he's not perfect either. It's not like he's this old.
Oh, he definitely has flaws.
Like you say, old master, but he's not like, say, Yoda or some of these other people who are just this wise old god man. Apparently, specifically, like, his whole story is he was a massive failure his entire life, like up until this point.
Yeah.
Like, all of his wisdom comes from all the times he's messed up in the past, and it's like all this is in a kids show. Like, they deal with all this stuff. Like, his son died in a war, and he's that's like shaped his entire personality, and it's in this show on Nickelodeon, which I think is what I appreciated, because it was a lot of times I think TV shows treat kids like they're dumber than they are, like they don't have the capacity to understand topics like that.
Nickelodeon and cartoons in general tend to have the opposite problem, where like the kids are geniuses and the adults are really stupid. Like Jimmy Neutron, Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, I just meant thematically. Like, they don't really...
Oh, yeah.
It's, they do things like... Well, like the plot synopsis Reid was just giving for the Jimmy Neutron episode. God. Rather than, say in Avatar, again...
I'm still watching the end.
Continuing on Avatar spoilers, just in case anyone's aware. We'll stop talking about it soon if you want to mute for a little bit more. But
I'll clap when he's done.
When he loses Appa, he doesn't immediately find him again the next episode.
Yeah, that was really good.
I love that they did that. Like, he loses, and it makes like a multiple episode impact. Like, there are so many shows where a bad thing will happen, and then they'll either correct it by the end of that episode or by the end of the next one. And that's not how it works in real life. It's like, when bad things happen, it tends to impact you for an extended period of time.
Like half a season, wasn't it?
And like his personality changes for that season, because as nice of a person as he is, he loses this one remnant of his old home and stuff, and so like he reacts appropriately, and I like that was so cool that they actually wrote it that way. And so it's a good show. If you haven't seen Avatar, go watch it. It's the best.
Unspoiler clap.
We'll move away from Avatar now.
Okay.
Music Musket said he's never watched Avatar, mainly because any anime is really a turnoff for me. I do not like any anime at all, and I still love Avatar. It's not really... If you dislike anime like I dislike anime, it's because of just the weird tone that it has, and Avatar doesn't have that because it's it's made
I think
by
Redline
Americans.
killed anime for you. I think
No.
Ian forcing you to watch Redline.
Jimmy,
killed anime.
That
he's turned
wasn't
into the
what
Hulk, man.
Redline was exactly as
He's turned
expected.
into the big Hulk, Jimmy Neutron.
Oh,
All right, 'cause he
God.
turns orange and.
Oh, I
fruity.
suppressed that. Oh.
Yeah. Then he spilled purple flurp all over his keyboard.
Boy, I love that Reid's just been
Purple
just
flurp.
now watching Jimmy Neutron while listening to us talk.
You know what? Out of all the flaws that Jimmy Neutron had, Purple Flurp sounds like a really good soda. I'm really disappointed there's no popular grape-themed soda. Like in general. Like, we have Fanta, but that's just fruit in general. We don't have a grape-themed soda that's like, oh, I'll have a Coke, I'll have a Sprite, I'll have a Purple Flurp, you know? It also sounds stupid, so that's a plus.
All I know about Fanta is the commercials they used to play in movie theaters, and stick that stupid song in my head
Oh, yeah.
for years to come.
Let's not bring it up.
That was kind of during the same age, right? Like just generally '90s commercials.
Don't talk. No jingles. This is a jingle-free zone.
Okay, that is an acceptable rule. White Noise Live is jingle free.
Jimmy's dad is so funny.
Oh, he likes the ducks. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
what can
Oh,
we-
yeah. Jimmy gets a spray tan. That's the whole plot of that
What
episode.
can we talk about
thinks-
other than '90s cartoons?
Other than Jimmy Neutron
for the last
Well,
10 minutes, people in the chat said, just give us something to talk about. Just give us anything.
Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four movie was pretty sad.
Wait,
The
which
thing-
one? There was a new movie. I didn't
No,
go see it. Did you go see it?
No, I didn't. Because
I heard it was so bad that it was like they lost like so much money on that new movie. Apparently, I was
How
gonna go
bad-
see it just for the fun of it, but it was the reviews that came in for it talked about it being so awful that I just decided it wasn't even worth our time going and laughing at it.
Just do a live thing of it. Like, do a live watch.
But
of
that's
it.
the thing. I'm not even sure it would be interesting. Like, I think it was so bad that it was just bad. It wasn't
Ooh,
like so bad it was
soda.
funny. I remember a lot of people not liking the original Fantastic Four, though, which I remember enjoying. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I thought it was really boring.
I may be wrong.
I thought it was like every other superhero movie. Like, they get their powers, they're super awkward. One of them's a jerk, and then there's always a fight at like a carnival or someplace with a lot of people. And then, oh look, all their powers get switched up. Something wacky happens,
I guess
and then it all ends with like them dancing and drinking wine at a soft like jazz bar. It's like, how many of these exist that all these superheroes can go to and not bump into each other?
well, back then, not many because there weren't all that many superhero movies. I think the issue now it was basically just the Avengers formula, except now the Avengers exist and it's better.
Yeah,
So
it was.
I remember enjoying it enough when I went to see it, and I was still in I think high school or middle school when it came out.
I
If
found
I
it
watch it
extremely
again, it may
boring.
not be good.
I don't know. I just thought it was like very just. I guess I just didn't like the Human Torch. I hated his character. He was a jerk through that whole movie.
Yeah, I mean that was his character.
I know, but like he was such like an unlikable jerk. Like there's jerks that you like to watch in movies because like they're funny, but he was just like, oh look at me, I'm the best, and then like he wouldn't shut up the whole movie, and it was just like, I can ride a dirt bike and catch on fire. This guy's name is the Thing. What about that?
I like that you turn everyone into a member of a mob family when you do an impression of them.
I'm tired. It's late. It's like 12:45 right now. Kyle, what video games have you been playing recently?
I like the Iron Man.
The Iron Man video game was not that good. Kyle, what video games?
No,
have you
not the
been
game, the movie.
Yeah,
Ah!
the movie was good.
Which one? There's like 5 now.
Well, the
Did you
original
watch
was still
Iron Man 5?
one of the
Iron
best.
Man 5.
I have still been playing Undertale, but I have been playing it very slowly, so I haven't gotten far enough into it to have. I think you're already updated on my progress through Undertale. I'm in the
Yeah.
sewage area still. I haven't gotten back.
No
to
one
it.
say any spoilers about Undertale. I've been I've been a good boy and not told Kyle anything.
Someone's asking
I've been
who's hyped for The Incredibles 2. I didn't know
I-
that was. Are they making The Incredibles 2?
Yeah, they are. Well, it was speculated, or like
Yeah.
they released a list of their like things to do.
I'm
There's
up
like
for it.
Cars 3 or
The
Cars
Incredibles
4.
is actually one of my, if not my favorite Pixar movie. So.
Considering how badly they've been stagnating recently, I'm not exactly that excited about it.
They haven't been doing horrible recently. It wasn't Inside Out really good. I haven't seen it because I don't go see movies, but everybody seemed to like that one a lot. Like
I don't think I actually. I think I saw a bit. I don't know. I remember like either watching half of it when it was on TV or like I don't know. I know that like apparently Pixar hasn't been doing too great recently. Like half their stuff has been great, and half their stuff has been flops.
They haven't been doing. You're comparing current Pixar to the height of Pixar.
That's true.
Like they've been doing fine. They just haven't been making a string of like 10 perfect hits all the way through.
That's true.
Like they had a couple movies that were just okay.
Know. Like they usually don't do sequels. That's the thing. And then they did like Toy Story 2 was good, and then they did Toy Story 3, and I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that it was okay, right? And then
I thought it was great. I think all the Toy Stories were great.
Cars wasn't awful. Like the first Cars movie, it wasn't my favorite, but like it was.
I didn't hate it as much as everybody else does. I think the only movie that everybody actually like. Cars didn't do great, and then Cars 2 everybody disliked, and Brave was okay, but I think
like
that's
Cars wasn't their best movie. Like Cars was like really poor for Pixar, and then they released another one, and it was like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, guys?
Well, I actually remember seeing a behind-the-scenes documentary on the Pixar movies, because I watch a lot of behind-the-scenes documentaries on movies.
Yes.
And there was, when they first started the group, they actually met, the original writers that probably still work there now, they met up and they brainstormed a bunch of ideas, and they decided what order they were going to do those ideas in. And they picked Toy Story first, because at the time, a lot of their animation looked very plasticky. So they were like, well, hey, let's do the one about plastic people first.
That explains why Andy still looks like a toy person.
The last idea on that list was WALL-E. Those were the original ideas, and then after that, Up was an original one, Up was obviously very high caliber. But since then, like we passed that point of the original Pixar ideas, which is why I think it's been more kind of up and down since then. But again, I think like they're allowed a few. Slight dips.
No,
that's fine.
They're trying to convince Jimmy that he's not a monster. What's gonna happen?
Oh, I want to watch Jimmy Neutron on Netflix now.
Why? What about this is making you want to go watch Jimmy Neutron?
Because it just sounds like laughably bad. I don't know. Anyway.
They took Doctor Who off of Netflix, and I'm all pissed.
Good. I'm glad.
Like everybody else. Because BBC is now starting their own streaming service or something.
What is it going to be called?
I don't know.
Oh, the police box is going to be called that. I was in the middle
of trying to show somebody Doctor Who, though, and they messed that up.
I'm glad that you haven't been able to convert another person to your horrible cult.
It's too late. They already like it.
No!
They'll find a way.
I hate it. I hate this. I hate it a lot. Why do you do this to me, Kyle? Why do you just convert people against me?
See, the reason you don't like Doctor Who is the same reason I've been avoiding Tarantino movies, and it's a bad reason on both of our parts.
What's define a Tarantino movie?
A movie made by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, okay. I really don't know much about that. Tell me a couple examples, and I'll probably think about it.
Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Django Unchained. All them.
Got the name wrong. Very wrong.
Films.
So why don't you like Tarantino movies?
For the same reason you don't like Doctor Who, because everybody who talks about them has irritated me, and it's not a good reason, and I'm gonna watch them anyway.
I think the reason that I don't like Doctor Who is because I tried watching Doctor Who at least multiple times, and I didn't like it multiple times, so I don't want to watch it. And then people are like, oh, you didn't watch my favorite episode. My favorite episode is the episode where Doctor Who sticks a banana up his nose and turns into the fifth Sith Lord. And then everyone's like, oh, Doctor No. And he's like, yes, now I have a orange police box. Everyone hop inside my orange police box. And then he goes on an adventure and talks to a purple dinosaur. And the purple dinosaur is like, listen, Doctor Who, you must be the new banana king because you shoved one up your nose. And then, oh, it's so wacky. Everyone loves Brian Griffith or whatever.
I'm pretty sure you just described an episode of Jimmy Neutron, actually, not Doctor Who.
Maybe, I don't know. It's so like, and it's just so aggravating to like hear people talk about it, and then they try to like suck you into it, And it's like, I already tried multiple times. You can only...
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's definitely a very specific taste for the show. There are a lot of things that they do really well.
If someone hands me a fruit, right, and I don't like it, it's like, oh, I just don't like it. Doesn't matter how many times you throw the fruit at me. I'm not going to eat it.
That's the it's like when you're trying to show somebody that show in particular, it's always very, the process is always, okay, so this is a good show, there's great characters, there's lots of really great things in the show. You do have to be okay with just like B-movie sci-fi camp though. And if you're not okay with that, you're not going to get through it.
I feel bad because I just don't like the concept of the actual character Doctor Who himself.
Why is that?
Because, like, there are some things about him that I find very interesting. I find it interesting that he's, like, kind of the last of this race of, like, weird Time Lords. Like, that's kind of a cool concept. I like the fact that there was a race of people who developed, like, time travel, and they were, you know, very, very fastidious about it. Like, okay, don't mess anything up. We're going to make all these ships with, like cloaking ability so they can cloak into whatever timeline you get to, right? You know, that's all interesting. And like the sonic screwdriver, be it a plot device, it kind of has a cool design. But I hate the fact that he's a Mary Sue. He is a Mary Sue. He's a perfect character that he can do nothing wrong. All of his flaws are like minimal and weird, and he won't die. He physically cannot die. He'll just turn into another.
Sure, then the show would stop.
That's the problem. I hate that. I hate reasons this character's immortal because then we would run out of show.
Now, see, to counter that, I think that it has actually turned into a really interesting case study of what you can do with a character when you've had the same story arc running for 50 years. Like, there is no other example of that existing, and people have actually done...
It could be said about an infection that's been on someone's leg for 50 years.
Okay, well, I think that's a little bit unfair. Also, I think it's handled differently by different writers, and so depending on who you're watching writing the story, it can actually be really there are definite really interesting character development moments with the Doctor at different points in his life because of how old he is and because of all this crap that he's been through. Like, he does have flaws, and I don't know which episodes you've been shown, because you may have been shown the ones that are like, you know, the Dr. B's cool and he solves problem. And,
I think that's my problem. The people that try to show me this show show me those episodes.
Yeah. But the reason those moments work are because you do get to see the moments where he's not the best person, because he does have plenty of actual flaws. Like, he's a really old god man who, like, ran away from... his whole character arc is he stole a ship from the race of Guardian people. He's a nut. Like, he's insane. Like, he stole this time machine and just ran away.
Yeah, but he's so wacky and lol random. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of already too spoiled. Like, I can't like the show.
No, I'm not planning on convincing you in general.
Yeah, I'm just kind of done with the whole thing. Like,
but also, I don't feel like I can really get
like
into
the
Doctor
show
Who right now.
Then like the show. I'm not going to stop you from liking the show. It's just not for me.
Because we're getting lots of comments in the chat that I fully want to argue with, but we're at the end of the podcast right now, and now is not the time.
No, we can't start a new one at 1 a.m.?
Eventually, at some point, I'll have Ian on, and we will have a Doctor Who cast, and we will talk about Doctor Who the whole time.
Just leave me out of that. Leave me out of that, or I will ruin the whole thing. I will try as hard as I can to ruin everything you guys are talking about. It's pretty hard to...
So, yeah, anything you want to slip in before the podcast is over? Reid, what's going on with Jimmy Neutron?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I finished the episode.
Was it a happy ending?
I don't remember.
Great. Give it a star rating?
Out of what?
5.
You decide.
You know.
All right, there we go. That was Reid's review of,
out of 5.
That episode of Jimmy Neutron he was watching.
It was the N-Men. That was the episode. If anyone's curious and wants to look up Jimmy Neutron, the N-Men. Oh. Is it bad that I remember like that episode a lot?
All right. Well, we will be back next weekend.
Back in 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
This
for
Monday
1 a.m.
will be the new Half-Life video. Maximum Warp. I will argue, but not right now. We will argue about Doctor Who in the future.
Everyone wants to fight you. Kyle, run.
No, I will not. I know why I like Doctor Who. I can stand my ground. I can argue.
I like him because laser monkeys.
And I guess that pretty much covers everything. So, yeah, Half-Life on Monday. Thanks everybody for joining.
Look at
We'll
it.
be
It's
back
colorful.
probably next Saturday morning, rather than Friday evening, because Friday evening is late, and I
Oh
still
man,
have to
those shoes.
finish the Half-Life video now. And I should probably go do that, because it's 1 a.m.
Oh god, the
okay.
shoes that ran forever.
So, everybody say bye.
What?
And everybody say
Bye.
bye. Reid, say bye.
Kyle. Jimmy,
I have a skull.
Jimmy with the shoes.
Okay.
No!
I'm ending this now. Everybody stop talking so that I can do the outro animation.
Okay.
No. No.